Every layoff letter has a human story behind it. A home loan, children's education, aging parents, a family that believed their future was secure. Yet in boardrooms across the world, thousands of jobs disappear through a spreadsheet decision. The question is not whether layoffs are sometimes necessary. The question is, could some of these layoffs have been prevented through better leadership foresight? Welcome to the concept of the Management Consciousness Index.
Artificial intelligence did not suddenly appear in 2025. The signals were visible years earlier. AI research, machine learning, automation, generative AI, digital transformation. The warning signs were everywhere. If employees were unprepared in 2025, was it because the future was invisible? Or because leadership chose not to prepare for it?
In many organizations, a CEO earns $100 million to $200 million per year. An average good employee earns $1.5 million to $2 million in Indian rupees per year. That means society places a significantly higher value on the CEO's judgment, foresight, and decision-making. A CEO's brain is 50 to 100 times more powerful than that of an average employee's brain. Leadership compensation is not a reward for occupying a position. It is a responsibility to anticipate change before others see it. If leaders are compensated for strategic thinking, should they not also be accountable for foreseeable disruption?
When thousands become unemployable because technology changes, who owns the responsibility? The employee? The manager? The HR head? The learning and development head? The CEO? The board of directors? Leadership often speaks about accountability. Perhaps it is time to ask, who is accountable for preparing people for the future? We measure revenue. We measure profit. We measure productivity. We measure employee engagement. But what measures the consciousness of management? What measures whether leaders are thinking 5 years ahead? What measures whether leaders understand the consequences of today's decisions on tomorrow's workforce? That is the purpose of the Management Consciousness Index assessment. Management consciousness is the ability of leaders to see beyond quarterly numbers. It is the ability to recognize emerging risks before they become crises. It is the willingness to invest in people before disruption arrives. It is the courage to prepare employees for jobs that do not yet exist. Conscious leadership asks, how do we protect both competitiveness and human potential? Technology is changing. Markets are changing. Economic models are changing. Customer expectations are changing. Regulations are changing. The signals are visible. The Temple's framework asks a simple question. Did leadership continuously scan the future? Or did leadership simply react after disruption had already arrived? Leadership often says, people are our greatest asset. But were investments made to prepare those people? Were employees continuously reskilled? Were future competencies identified? Was talent development treated as a strategic priority? Or was training viewed merely as an annual budget line item? Human resources is not merely an administrative function. Learning and development is not merely a training calendar. Their purpose is to ensure workforce readiness. The question every HR and L&D leader should ask is, if disruption arrives tomorrow, how many of our employees are truly future ready? Because workforce readiness is not built during a crisis. It is built years before the crisis arrives. Boards appoint CEOs. Boards oversee governance. Boards approve strategy. Yet how many boards formally assess leadership consciousness? How many boards evaluate future readiness, workforce sustainability, systems thinking, and long-term capability development? Governance is not merely financial oversight. Governance is stewardship of the future. For decades, employees were evaluated. Performance was measured. Competencies were assessed. Potential was reviewed. Perhaps a new question should emerge. Employees should have the right to ask, how conscious is our leadership? What evidence exists that management is preparing us for the future? How does leadership score on the Management Consciousness Index? Imagine a world where leadership is assessed not only on profit, but also on foresight, talent stewardship, ethical responsibility, systems thinking, sustainability, digital readiness, long-term value creation. This is the purpose of the Management Consciousness Index assessment. Not to blame, not to criticize, but to ensure that future decisions are made with greater awareness and responsibility. Artificial intelligence is not the enemy. Technology is not the enemy. Change is not the enemy. The real danger is leadership that sees disruption only after it arrives. The future belongs to organizations whose leaders think beyond themselves, beyond quarterly targets, beyond annual bonuses, beyond short-term gains. The future belongs to conscious leadership. And that is why the world needs the Management Consciousness Index. If employees are expected to continuously upgrade their skills, perhaps leadership should continuously prove its consciousness. Management consciousness is the bridge between human wisdom and artificial intelligence. Without consciousness, AI becomes automation.
With consciousness, AI becomes amplification. Thank you for your valuable time.